We did get some bad news from the Bears injury report today, but also a glimmer of hope as well. An undrafted free agent starting at tackle, but Spider Man returns. Darnell Wright has been ruled out for this game, but Kyler Gordon returned to practice today. All that and more, I'm going to break it all down. After winning our first game of the Ben Johnson era, there were reports that the Bears were expecting some good news on the injury front this week, but it almost feels like this team is playing it safe with the bye week coming up. On Wednesday and Thursday, we were missing TJ Edwards, Grady Jarrett, Darnell Wright, Kyler Gordon, and Colston Loveland from practice, and it felt like that news of some of these guys returning was a bit premature. But Kyler Gordon returning to practice might change that. But the bad news is we're going to be missing potentially our best offensive lineman this week as Darnell Wright has been ruled out. But we could also be missing our first round pick and our big free agent signing from this spring as well, as Colston Loveland got in one limited practice. He's questionable, but Grady Jarrett was out all week and he's been ruled out for this game. On top of that, we already have guys on the injured reserve like Jalen Johnson and Austin Booker. But the Bears could be without a total of 7 starters against the Raiders, depending on if a couple of these guys can return. This hurts. After such an impressive win against the Cowboys on Sunday, missing at least 5 starters for this week's matchup on the road against the Raiders is going to make that game tough. The good news is that this bye week couldn't come at a better time. It's believed that everyone other than Jalen Johnson should be ready to go after the bye when we face the Commanders. And that should be a big matchup. But that game is more than 2 weeks away. And the Bears sit here at 1-2 right now, and they simply cannot afford to overlook this game on Sunday. But we're hurting right now. This secondary will be without Jalen Johnson for a while. TJ Edwards has already been ruled out for Sunday's game. Grady Jarrett has also been ruled out. It comes down to whether or not Kyler Gordon can return. But maybe even worse is that Darnell Wright has also been ruled out. It's a tough break on the injury front. On the bright side, though, both Colston Loveland and Kyler Gordon returned to practice today, but both of them were just in a limited fashion, and they still might not play on Sunday. This was the first practice that Kyler has been to since he got hurt in camp. He's listed as questionable, and his return would be a huge boost to this defense, but if he's not 100% yet, I don't know if it's worth the risk of getting him re-injured to rush him back. With a bye week after this game, he could have another 2 weeks to get back to 100% and be ready to go for the rest of the season. Either way, it's great news to finally have Kyler back at practice. We've been missing him on defense, and his return would be huge. Grady Jarrett being out, though, that's another big loss here. Although he hasn't been very effective so far on the field this year, he's a guy I've expected a lot more out of. Hopefully, he can rest his knee a bit over the next couple of weeks and get back to being a difference maker. But this potentially could allow our rookie second round pick Shamar Turner to get significant reps on Sunday. And maybe he can show off some of his skills. We sure could use a boost to that defensive line. But to me, the biggest blow is losing Darnell Wright for this game. He's been our best run blocker this season, and he's given up the least amount of pressures on our entire offensive line. He has had some penalty issues, but Darnell has played pretty dang well. Most likely, he's going to be replaced by former undrafted free agent Theo Benedet, looking to get his first career start at right tackle. Theo's our swing tackle, but Ozzy Trapillo is our second team right tackle. I'd at least like to see Ozzy active for this game as well, and maybe get him a few reps on Sunday. We need more from our second round picks. But this could be an awesome opportunity for Theo Benedet. He was actually taking reps from Braxton Jones at left tackle, but now he's going to get his first career start on the right side. Theo's been a great story, both in training camp and in preseason, and I'd love to see it translate onto the football field on Sunday. But he's going against Max Crosby in his first career start, and that's scary to think about. That could be a big factor in Sunday's game. A couple other guys were full participants today and have been removed from the injury report. Cole Kmet, linebacker DeMarco Jackson, and cornerback Jalen Jones. the former UDFA who was re signed this year. Getting Jalen Jones back adds at least one more body to that secondary. If Kyler returns, it would be huge. But without JJ and Kyler, our secondary has been in shambles. And we're facing another team that doesn't have the strongest secondary either. On the road against the Las Vegas Raiders, for my Profit X pick of the week, I'm going with Caleb Williams over 1.5 TD passes. After throwing for 4 last week against the Cowboys, I expect our signal caller to be able to toss at least 2 against the Raiders, especially after they allowed 41 points to the Marcus Mariota-led Commanders last week, giving up 400 total yards. I'm all over this one. If you sign up, be sure to use promo code SWIFT. Claim up to $200 in bonus profit cash that you can use on all your plays for the first 30 days. Terms and conditions apply. Sign up now. I'm cautiously optimistic about this game, guys. Kyler's return would be the biggest X factor for me, but we will be missing a total of at least 4 starters, maybe 6 or 7, depending on if some of these guys can return. What do you guys expect to see in this game on Sunday? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button if you're excited to see the Bears play. Stay tuned. We also signed another player to the practice squad. Trey Hill, welcome to the Bears. I'll be breaking down what you need to know about him later, but I wanted to get this injury report out as soon as possible. So until next time, bear down.